GTA 6 Impossible Trailer 2. Yes, I got my prediction wrong on the trailer 2 being on Valentine's Day. My bad. Like many of us, but we're going to be reacting to some more GTA 6 news. Link to the original video down below. It's Mr. Boss for the win. Well, let's see what he has to say and give our thoughts and opinions on this.
According to a very interesting
Which, by the way, if you're new to this channel and you don't know, huge GTA Rockstar creator here. Not huge, but been around for the community a long time. So subscribe if you want to be a part of the conversations and have a more insightful uh, commentary when it comes to, like, for example, RP and stuff like that.
source, we now might know when Grand Theft Auto 6's second trailer is going to be arriving. We'll be talking about all of that in this video today and a whole lot more. So the source is important here. It's probably someone you've heard of, or at least a group you've probably heard of. It's GTA 5 O'Clock, who's now doing their Grand Theft Auto 6 O'Clock episodes, or whatever they've decided to call it. But if you've been around the GTA community for a while, you've probably heard that name. You've probably watched some of their videos, listened to some of their podcasts or interviews that they've done. They're seemingly pretty well connected in the GTA universe with maybe the people they know or the sources that they have. And this seems to be the case here, as they dropped what I'm going to call a newsletter. It seemingly outlines a handful of topics they wanted to discuss, and one of them has them actually having knowledge of when the second GTA 6 trailer is set to be here, which includes what they're saying is reputable and credible insider sources.
I do want to give my thoughts on this. The funny thing is you got to be careful what you say. It just in regards to anything like this, really. But the thing is one of the things I'm noticing that we're what makes this specific game cycle rather than like Red Dead or the GTA 5 is we get a lot of leaks and rumors from like 5 or 6 years ago that didn't seem accurate, but then became accurate now, rather than being like leaks from like last year or something. So it's like oftentimes we get these like news sources or whatever, but it's really just leaks that have been around for 5 or 6 years already, but they were never fully explained or never really elaborated on. They were just smaller things. So not saying that this is what that is, but I'm kind of noticing this, that it's like it's a lot of this information has been out for a while. If that makes sense.
So let's go ahead and dive into what the article has to say. 458 days after GTA 6's debut trailer leaked one day early on December 4th, 2023, we're yet to see a new screenshot or GTA 6 trailer 2, which has become its own SEO key phrase in
Yeah.
Google Discovery Cottage industry. However, we're expecting movement soon, like the end of March, early April soon. Little clues like Rockstar purging their Instagram down to 12 posts, although they do that pretty frequently. Fan-fueled optimism. However, they go on to say the more pertinent overlay is that if GTA 6 is to launch in fall 2025, as Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick has reiterated on multiple earnings calls, then Rockstar is simply running out of time. That is, if they intend to repeat the marketing strategy that has served them well for GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. See below. And we'll actually take a look at that in a little bit, but I want to finish the article first. That says, we've created a timeline that overlays GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2's marketing campaigns to see what they might mean for GTA 6. Broadly, Rockstar's last two big AAA games have run compressed 5 to 6
Yeah.
month campaigns leading up to launch.
Which, by the way, a lot of games studios don't do that. Rockstar is one of the few people that can actually get away with that.
Given that we've been told to expect a fall 2025 release, we're tipping for late October, early November. You can dive into the show for more background. Then that places the start of the compressed campaign as late as March or early April. Now here's where things get interesting. We've received a lot of emails from people claiming to be insiders, and this
Yeah.
historical marketing pattern chimes in with one of our more credible tip-offs, which was more definitive in tipping April for trailer 2. They go on to say the past does not predict the future, but we are talking about a more controlled, tried and tested promotion strategy potentially executed by a core group of the same Rockstar employees. So yeah, we're expecting GTA 6 trailer 2 by early April. Conviction 39 out of 50 spaceship parts. So there you go.
Which I do want to throw kind of this other. So obviously we're talking about the time before the game is because it's going to be fall. So we're running into the situation where if they're gonna, like you said, if you're gonna market it, you have to. What months are you actually gonna do it? Because the game has to release this year. I have a different opinion that they actually might do a 3 to 4 month marketing campaign similar to what they do with NBA 2K, which they actually only really do 2 to 3 months, I think. Because one, they have a monopoly on the NBA games, so there's nobody to compete with them, and so they just announce the next NBA 2K game 3 months before, and then that's when you start seeing stuff, and that saves money on marketing, saves money on um, I guess it wouldn't doesn't necessarily save money, but they can be more targeted in their approach rather than just bombarding everybody with it. I think they're gonna drop that strategy because if you really think about it, they have a monopoly on these games. Now if Cyberpunk 2077, for example, not the same, it's the same kind of, it's an open world role playing game, but it that like Cyberpunk 27 would have been a good competitor to this game. So if they were both releasing the same year, I would see Rockstar doing a 6 month campaign, which because they don't have a monopoly at that point. But because everyone's moving away from them, all these other games that want to, we have so many games announced, but none of them have release dates because GTA 6. So they have a monopoly on the release. They have a monopoly on this type of open world game, and I just don't see them going as hard on marketing, or at least a more targeted approach, because they don't have competition. But that being said, too, this is one of the things that people forget. This game is upwards of estimates of costing $1 billion. Um, Now, you probably say, "But that's a lot, but that's not fair because they've been developing it for like 10 years." Yes, that's true. And because of inflation, it's also makes the numbers seem a little bit higher than it actually is. That's fine. That's fair. But this is upwards being one of the most expensive games ever developed. Um, so I think that if I'm Rockstar Take Two and I've already spent this much amount of money, you either there's a chance that you might not want to overspend on marketing to try to, God forbid it fails, right? But if you don't overspend on marketing, at least you give yourself a better chance of maximizing profits in the short term. I don't agree with that strategy. I think it would be kind of risky, but if you compare it to what they do with NBA 2K, if they see themselves as a monopoly on this type of genre of game or just in this space right now, then they can actually do that. Reduce marketing, save money, and maximize profits while also being more targeted. I think that's what's going on. Again, they can literally just say, "Hey, this game comes out next week," and do a guerrilla marketing tactic, and we would have never seen it coming.
That is what the entire article says, essentially saying that we should be getting some movement soon at the end of March, early April, and that early April is setting up to be when trailer 2 for
Which, in fairness, you could also say, "Well, we have to because investors, not because of us. The investors are going to want to see something soon."
GTA 6 will arrive. And that makes sense for a lot of reasons, but I want to take a look at their little timeline that they've created first.
Let's check it
So this
out.
will be a little bit easier to see without my face cam, so I've taken it off for now. But essentially,
Oh, let me. You know what? Let me turn off mine too, so I can see.
it lays out a timeline for Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, and then potentially Grand Theft Auto 6. And you can all kind of see that around 5 to 6 to 7 months before the game is supposed to come out, Rockstar really does ramp up what they start showing us. Now, with GTA 5, they showed us a lot more prior to that 6 to 7 month time period. Red Dead Redemption 2, they did a little bit less, although they had to make a public delay announcement, so that might have encouraged Rockstar to have to come out and say, hey, here's some screenshots or here's what's going to be coming up next. But for the most part, you can see in the last 8 months, that's when Rockstar really start to ramp things up. And so as we're approaching middle of March and early April, we are hitting that 8 month time period if the game is set to be here. And again, late October, early November. And we'll talk about why it's probably going to be October or November in just a little bit, but you can see how this timeline starts to make sense.
Which I do want to put this in here. There was a lot of speculation as to the marketing situation with Red Dead was really interesting because of the delay, the pandemic and all that. Um, I mean, I guess it came out before, but like how big that they wanted the game to be. If that makes sense. Because like for example, online didn't really go anywhere very quickly. And so there was this idea of, well, they're gonna save the marketing, a lot of the marketing push for the online, but then it never really came to fruition. It kind of just fell off. But um, and so the idea was, at least this is what a lot of people interpret. They didn't market it as hard as GTA because they knew that the Red Dead base didn't have another Red Dead game. Whereas, like, I guess if you count Undead Nightmare, I guess that's another one. But the GTA's, you can always go play the other GTA's. You had much more variety in games to play. Whereas Red Dead, there really wasn't any Western games. So it's the same thing back to the Monopoly idea. But it's like, well, they don't have to go as hard on this game because the reality is, one, it's not going to be as popular. But two, the base, like people like me, are gonna buy it no matter what. You could just announce it and we'll play it. I pre-ordered the most expensive edition almost immediately. Um, but then again, if you know my channel, you know I'm a huge Red Dead guy. Much I prefer Red Dead more than I do GTA at the moment. But who knows with GTA 6? But that's what I'm saying. Like they just had the audience baked in and ingrained that they didn't need to convince them again. Which is why if you look at the sales of GTA or Red Dead 2, they didn't make as many sales right away, but they're making the sales now. They're still making tons of sales on Red Dead now. But that's because of by delaying that marketing a little bit longer, and it seemed to play out better for them, if that makes sense. I don't know if that I could be wrong, but let me know what you think in the comments down below if that's even worth doing. Because even if it is like as accurate as I'm describing it, because you could be like, well, even if that's like the reason why they did it, they didn't. It wasn't GTA 5 success. So there's a lot of things that you can look at it and interpret. But let's get into
And
this.
yes, there hasn't been anything from Rockstar in over 460 days, but at the end of the day, that's not really surprising, considering that's mostly what they did with their other releases, Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5. Now, another reason March and early April work so well is because, number one, Rockstar Games has nothing more to talk about. They've released everything they've set to release: GTA Online updates, free GTA 5 DLCs for PC, and so the only thing they could possibly talk about is Grand Theft Auto 6. We also know that their parent company,
Oh,
Take-Two Interactive, is set to have an earnings call in May 2025. And on that earnings call, they have to confirm whether or not the game is coming out in fall 2025 or set a new release date or release window for it. So we have
that's not true. They don't. They don't have to confirm it. Then that's not entirely true. What they have to confirm is when they're going to start marketing. So there's a so at least this is just here's my take on this. If they said already confirmed it the last earnings call that it's coming out this year, it's coming out fall, they don't have to reconfirm it. What they have to confirm is that they can say marketing is coming soon. Marketing is starting this year. If they say marketing is starting, or I mean not marketing starting this year, but marketing is looking to start summer, blah blah blah. Or, they have to start saying like when everything else around the game is starting to happen because they've already confirmed it the last time. Reconfirming it again and every single investors meeting without having marketing is just, I think, makes people really nervous. If anything, um, because if they were going to delay it, they would have already said it by now.
to know something concrete by then at a minimum. So the stars really are aligning for Rockstar Games to finally provide us with some more information and hopefully a second trailer for GTA 6. And there's some other reasons why now might be a pretty good time for all of this. One of them is that free update that Rockstar provided to GTA 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online for the PC, guys. It has not been received well at all for whatever particular reason. This is an article on PCGamesN.com. GTA 5 Enhanced is now the worst rated Rockstar game in the history of Steam. This is what that article goes on to say. Given the fever pitch anticipation for GTA 6, perhaps this was inevitable. Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced, which adds bonuses like ray tracing options, improved loading times, and extra vehicles, is now the worst rated Rockstar game in Steam history. Going on to say maybe people wanted more from GTA 5 Enhanced, maybe they're just frustrated that it's not Grand Theft Auto 6. Either way, Rockstar's latest launch has set a sore record. More than 12,000 players have left ratings for GTA 5 Enhanced on Steam. Of that 12,000,
Let's see if he
specifically
mentions the actual
50.04% are
issues.
positive. And according to Steam database, the next lowest Rockstar Games is Grand Theft Auto 3: The Definitive Edition, which has a positive score of 65%. So you can see it is the lowest by a significant amount. And again, a lot of that could just simply be Grand Theft Auto 6 frustration. And I actually expected that that was some backlash.
I don't think so. There was a lot of for example, I have friends who have really good PCs still having issues with the game. It's just more technical issues, and I think with PC gamers, um, you when you wait so long for this enhanced edition and then it just comes out and somehow makes the game not work, um, it's kind of a frustrating thing. I mean, obviously you can say, well, you can still play the legacy edition, but it's like that excitement's almost immediately gone if you're having a lot of technical issues. So I think, yeah, I don't think it's frustration. Maybe it is, but it's more of you just can't release so many bad broken games. And if and even then, I could even give Rockstar credit to say, hey, it's not even just that they did it. It's just so many games this year so far, and even last year. Oh my god, so many games last year that came to PC it just didn't work. They just had so many technical issues. And so I think that's kind of it's more that the frustration of shit not working when it's supposed to be a better version.
That Rockstar was probably going to face, that anything they announced that
So, I don't want to sound like I'm defending Rockstar, but I do think, as me, somebody who's had technical issues with other games, it's more that, right? It doesn't matter who the studio is. If another studio releases a game that doesn't work or has a lot of technical issues, yeah, I'm gonna feel the same way. So you can say that I'm defending Rockstar, sure, I don't care, but I do think it's you got to be fair in that sense. But let me know what you think in the comments down below on that.
that isn't Grand Theft Auto 6 is just not going to be well received. And I think that was the case here. Now, it's not to say that this new enhanced edition doesn't have frustrating issues or
It
bugs
does.
that make it a less positive experience, but I do believe a lot of that is GTA 6 fueled. But I really do believe we could
No,
just be days or weeks away from finally hearing from Rockstar Games. The evidence seems to be lining up based on what their parent company has to do in a couple of months, based on the past and their release of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5, and based on some interesting insider credible sources from a group of content creators that have been covering Grand Theft Auto for a long time. Now, whether or not that turns out to be true or not, only time will tell. But I'd love to hear from you in those comments down below. Again, do you think we are only days or weeks away from GTA 6 getting new information? And do you think Trailer 2 is going to arrive in early April? Based on how proud and boastful Rockstar was on the first trailer breaking all those records, I think it's safe to say that this is not going to be a surprise release. And I think we will have a good idea of when exactly that's going to be coming. So I don't just think it will be dropped out of nowhere. And I also don't think Rockstar will mess with April 1st, which of course is April Fool's Day.
they have the chance to do the funniest thing ever and shadow drop the game. Not shadow drop, but just is it guerrilla release? Is it what we're calling it? Like guerrilla marketing, guerrilla release? I forgot what it's not shadow drop because you still announce it. But um if they did it like in April, just April 2nd, they release a trailer on the April 1st and just to troll and do some funny ass shit and make a bajillion dollars, April 2nd, they're like, the game's out. You can download it now on consoles. But obviously they would want pre-orders, but so that's probably not the reason, not the case that they would do. But I think it would be really hilarious. I again like I think the news right now is kind of in a weird position because we're basically playing with information that we already know. in different forms, and then you're trying to include sorry, I don't know why I said it like that, but include leaks and information from years prior that only became true recently. And so now I think there's a just kind of this wave right now of people going back and re-looking at everything. But also it's like ask yourself, like, what could they really show in trailer two? Um, I don't really know. Like, well, what are we more story trailer, but I actually don't want to see another story trailer. I want to see what the online is going to look like. I want to see what the Project Rome is going to look like because I think what makes the games so exciting is not knowing everything before it's released because of how social media is going to be, how YouTube is going to be. Everyone's going to be racing to post the spoilers as quick as possible. I am not going to do that, which obviously because my channel isn't just GTA, I have other stuff. So, but it's like it's one of those things where if we're getting trailers that explain a lot and then suddenly we're getting all this information as soon as the game comes out and everything's being spoiled, I just it's going to suck. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that we should expect a real solid answer in April? I think we will know that marketing they'll tell us that marketing is coming soon. I don't expect an actual release date. I expect more of like, hey, we're still on track for this year and marketing is going to be starting soon. That's all I see happening. Because they have already confirmed the game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Love you guys. Check out the next one. Bye bye. This video is brought to you actually by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.